everything about her when they were dating, though he notices that many people around him seem to go through the same thing. He adds with a serious expression that love often seems to change with circumstances, though truly great things, in his opinion, usually remain constant. As she listens intently, he continues, explaining that love changes because it is tied to a mix of emotions within each person. That's why, he advises, she should approach it lightly and try a relationship at least once. He clarifies that while love is indeed amazing, he doesn't believe it's necessarily something universally great. He also warns her to be cautious about falling into dangerous love. Curious, she asks him what he means by dangerous love. He explains that he believes there are two types of emotions that can be dangerous. The first is when someone tries to unilaterally force love, when one partner is attempting to compel the other to love them, while the other is merely respecting their wishes without any genuine desire for love. The second type involves a love characterized by observation alone. For example, someone who is content just watching their partner without truly engaging with them. Chan emphasizes that he sees both of these types of love as hazardous because they can leave wounds and scars on both sides, often causing partners to shut their hearts off from each other. As he gazes out the window, he notices two men with crocodile-like faces working together. This prompts him to tell her that while the two kinds of love he described are different, he views them as greedy and one-sided emotions. He adds that love cannot exist in isolation. It requires mutual engagement. Observing the crocodile-faced men outside, Chan concludes that a true relationship can only be established through the exchange of feelings between partners. After sharing his thoughts, Chan warns her once again to be cautious of these types of love and to seek a comfortable relationship instead. The girl customer listens intently, surprised by his insights, and begins to jot them down on her tablet. However, she pauses to write a question, politely asking if she will be able to find a relationship, given her frustrating nature. Chan reassures her confidently that she absolutely can find it, because she is a very attractive person. He adds, somewhat awkwardly, that it might be rude to say, but he believes there won't be many men who would turn down her confession. Therefore, he encourages her to be confident and to take the plunge. As he finishes speaking, he suddenly covers his mouth, feeling a bit embarrassed, and apologizes for talking so much, especially considering he has never dated before. This revelation surprises the customer. She responds with a polite smile, mentioning that she has never dated anyone either but is still creating love potions. She explains that it's actually easier for her to understand someone who hasn't had romantic experiences, and she expresses her gratitude for learning the perspective of someone who has been single their entire life. Chan feels a mix of discomfort and gratitude at her compliment, silently wishing she would steer clear of discussing his lifelong single status. Then he suddenly calls out to her again, asking if she needs to get ready for work. She glances at her phone and, surprised, realizes he's right. It's time for the first bus to arrive. They both walk to the convenience store's entrance, where she thanks him respectfully for listening to her. She expresses that it truly helped her a lot, to which he responds that he's glad to have been of assistance. He then hands her a small packet from the store, requesting that she take it with her. Confused, she asks why he is giving it to her. He simply explains that since she has to go to work now, it will make her day a little easier if she takes it. Although initially surprised, she nods in agreement and accepts the packet, thanking him once again. As he reaches for the door handle to open it, she calls out to him once more. With a bright smile, she asks if it would bother him if she returned to the store in the future. He assures her that it's not a problem at all. With that, she exits the store and heads on her way. The next morning, the manager arrives at the convenience store and asks Chan about the succubus girl. As she puts on her jacket, she questions him, wondering if he really thinks it's okay for the succubus customer to return. Chan simply replies that he does. Her expression turns to one of shock, and she warns him not to accept such customers so easily in the future. She explains that he should be cautious around succubi, as they are known for their intense obsessions. In a calm tone, Chan asks if that's really the case. With a firm expression, she confirms it, warning him that he could get into trouble if he messes with them. She reiterates the importance of being careful next time. Chan listens attentively, his face a bit embarrassed, and assures her that he will keep her advice in mind. As they speak, a cyclist rides by outside the store. The manager casually mentions that she hasn't seen the pure-blooded young dragon today. This prompts Chan to remember that she still has many tasks to complete. Just then, the manager questions whether the little kid has forgotten something. Suddenly, they both hear a strange noise from outside. Concerned, they rush to the entrance. Chan asks about the sound, but the manager admits she doesn't know what it is, only that it sounds like metal. As the manager quickly opens the door and they both look outside, they're shocked to see the cyclist from earlier lying in the street. The manager calls out to him, referring to him as Mechanical Doll Mister, and asks if he is hurt. Still lying on the ground, the figure looks up and assures her that he is fine, thanking her for her concern. But as Chan gets a better look, he realizes the figure isn't human. It is a robot. The manager kneels beside the robot, offering a hand to help it up, remarking with concern that it couldn't possibly be okay after making such a loud crash. The robot apologizes for startling her and gratefully accepts her help to stand. Meanwhile, Chan picks up the robot's fallen bicycle, puzzled by the situation. The manager then kindly asks how it ended up falling in the first place. The robot explains that an unexpected issue occurred. The bicycle pedal suddenly stopped working. Looking closer at the bike, Chan calls out from behind, noticing that the chain has fallen off. The robot tilts its head in confusion, asking if the bicycle chain indeed came loose. Chan crouches beside the bike, confirms the robot's words, and explains that the chain likely slipped off due to twisting while shifting gears. He reassures them that, with a bit of effort, they should be able to fix it. Using his mind and deftly moving his hands, he quickly reattaches the chain to the bicycle. Once he finishes, he announces that it is done. Both the manager and the robot watch in astonishment, with the robot even breaking into applause, clearly pleased. The manager turns to Chan, praising him as amazing for fixing it so quickly. The robot glances at its bicycle, expressing gratitude for the repair and commenting on Chan's impressive skills. The manager steps closer to Chan, placing a hand on his back, and cheerfully notes how talented and reliable he is. With a blush creeping onto his cheeks, Chan modestly replies that he simply knows how to fix bicycles because he rode one a lot when he was younger. The robot then politely hands each of them a card, thanking them again for their assistance, and assuring them they can reach out anytime they need help. As they examine the card, they realize that the robot owns a shooting factory that specializes in monster hunting. The robot informs them that he would be happy to provide his services to them both for free. Chan tries to assure the robot that it doesn't need to go out of its way to return the favor, but the robot insists that it genuinely wants to help and encourages them to contact it whenever they need assistance. With that, it hops back on its bicycle and bids farewell, riding off into the distance. The manager waves at the robot with a cheerful demeanor, reminding it to be careful on its way, while Chan simply watches with an indifferent expression. Turning back to him, the manager politely suggests that he should head home and get some rest since tomorrow will be busy. Chan looks puzzled and asks if there are a lot of deliveries scheduled. She explains that tomorrow is Friday, the day when people often have fun before the weekend. With a playful tone, she adds that if he doesn't rest well today, he might just collapse tomorrow. The mention of Friday shocks Chan, and he suddenly realizes she is right. He reflects that he must have forgotten, as it has been so long since he last worked in a convenience store. In his mind, he acknowledges that Fridays are notorious for being wild party days for convenience store workers. The next day, Friday arrives, and Chan is on the night shift. Standing at the counter, he reflects on the significance of this day. Glancing at the computer screen, he mutters that it is a burning Friday, widely known as the craziest day of the week. It is the day when everyone seeks to unwind and shake off the stress accumulated over the past 5 days. However, he muses about the source of this relief. Then he realizes that of course it is the alcohol, acknowledging that every liquor store profits significantly on this day, including the convenience store. At this time, the atmosphere in the store is lively, with a couple of customers enjoying themselves. 2 guys with elf ears are causing a stir. One of them is clutching a bottle while the other sits on the floor, munching on snacks and laughing wholeheartedly. The guy holding the bottle turns to his friend and announces that he will now sing song number 18, asking if he's ready to listen. With a bright smile, the second elf eagerly agrees, and the first one begins to sing.